All right, here we go. We have one of my hometown heroes. Oh, man, one of the greatest point guards of all time, Hall of Famer Gary Payton. Welcome to Vlad TV.
What's up, Vlad? How you doing?
Hey, man, I've been wanting to do this for so long, man.
It's all good. I'm here with you now.
We're finally here. We're finally here. Well, this is our first time sitting down, so I want to get into your whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Born and raised in Oakland, California. What was Oakland like? You know, we're talking about the 70s and 80s.
Vlad, you got to understand, I was born in the 60s, so me growing up and then having my mom, them be who they were going through the times of the 40s, 50s, and 60s and stuff like that. And I'm the youngest out of 5. So when I was born in West Oakland in the projects. Yeah. Didn't really know nothing about all that because I was a young kid, and then my dad got me up out of there when I was 4. But as I grew up in Oakland, it taught me a lot. It taught me how to be a man. It taught me how to be tough. And especially for what I was doing when I was in the pros, it wasn't an act. It was something that I grew up like. I used to have to go to every block, neighborhood, and be rough and be tough. And I can talk. But I had a lot of guys who was with me to protect me and do the things like that. But I would never say any other city that I was born in and grew up with, I wouldn't even take it away. The Big O is where it is, man. So Oakland is where it's at.
Okay, now you're growing up in Oakland with your mom and dad your dad actually had the nickname Mr. Mean.
Yeah.
I guess he never gave you a compliment?
Never.
That's crazy. I mean, as a father now, is it kind of weird when you kind of say it out loud? Because I'm sure you compliment your kids all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but I you know what? I really respect it because what he made me who I was, and he did that for a lot of people in Oakland, California that didn't have fathers, and he was the one that became their father. When he didn't give me no kind of compliment, it was like me wanting to prove to him that I can get better. And he wanted to get a compliments, but he just wasn't that guy, you know what I'm saying? But you'll know what kind of compliment he did because he'll start acting a different way and then start to be smiling with you and give you something and give me a little something here and a little something there and let me do other thing or bring me a pair of tennis shoes. That was his compliment. But he didn't want me to get comfortable. And that's what I like. He didn't let me get comfortable because if I had 40, he was like, whatever. You should have had 60. You know what I'm saying? So it was cool for me. And then the next night, I'll come around and have 60. So it was good. So, that was what I needed. I needed that type of motivation.
Yeah. Well, there was a situation when I guess you disrespected one of your high school teachers and he showed up.
Yeah.
And what happened next?
Well, that was a good one. I got slapped in front of everybody. You know what I'm saying? But that was when the day your parents could put their hands on you and nobody called the police. You know what I'm saying? Right. But my father was really, really strict like that. He would come up to the school and basically check me in front of people to make me know how to respect somebody, respect your elders. That was in a day or a time where you did something and you didn't want to see him. I didn't want to see him. I had a lot of friends that was probably outside at the school shooting dice or something, and they'll see that white truck come up, and they'll see my dad, and they'll run and hop the fence and say they didn't want Pops to see it. Same with me. I just didn't want him to call my dad. And she knew what to do. She knew how to call my father, and she called him on the under. And next thing you know, he walking in the classroom, and I knew I was about to get it.
Wait, not even on the court, in the actual classroom.
In the classroom.
He stormed the classroom.
He came in the classroom, and he said he'll be there in a minute. And I didn't know, and I was still acting a fool. And she was like, okay. And then all of a sudden, she didn't tell me. She called him, and he walked in on the next period. And, it was all bad there. And then he told me to come over, and, he snatched me up, and, it was one of them things where my father just didn't care about nothing.
Okay, so your dad smacked you in front of the whole class, and everyone was just like, oh.
Yeah. You know how that, ooh. And you're embarrassed because you can't go out. You can't go out to lunch no more because they're going to be like, oh, man, Gary, daddy just popped him. You know what I'm saying? So you'll be mad at the other people and want to fight them, but if he come back, it's going to be another different story. You know what I'm saying? So I used to have to take it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd take it. But everybody was like that with my father. They just didn't want my father to snatch him, and my father wasn't really scared of nothing. So it was a good experience for me to grow up right way. Because you know Oakland, you can get caught up in them streets. And during that time, it was really bad. During that time, you can get caught up.
Right, because you're talking about the early 80s.
Uh-huh.
You're a teenager during this time. And I mean, crack, I think, actually started in Oakland.
Crack started in Oakland. You remember we did the what was the movie called? New Jack City. That was off of us.
You're right. Yeah,
New Jack City was off of us because we had a thing called 6-9ville.
Yeah.
Where they started up like that, where they was selling the dope and stuff in the houses, doing in the projects like that. And that's where it started. So we started at it. That came in about like 87, 88. Crack started really, really cracking. And we was, that's when everything was happening in Oakland. It was everything. And you would had to get out of it. We was trying to get out of it, and I was doing the wrong thing, hanging, doing with the wrong people, but that was just what it was. It was like that, but I had a father that always kept me correct. But then I had some guys around me that was like, yo, look, you're a hooper. Man, get out of here. If something gonna jump, you gotta go. And that was a big thing about that for me.
I mean, did you ever get caught up in anything? Any of those types of street situations, just being in that environment? Because your dad's not going to be around you 24/7.
Right, I did, but it was always I can get out of it. I can get away with it. I can get away. They'll get me and put me in put in the car and bounce out, and I'll do that. But sometimes, I was at the wrong place, wrong time, got snatched up, but luckily I didn't have nothing or anything on me or do anything like that because I wasn't a saint. People just don't understand it. I wasn't a saint. I could have got caught up in a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I said, I had friends that would protect me in the right way.